Is this the best mechanical chronograph under 500 bucks on the market? It's a brand new. Well, some of you might say this is just a Breitling Navi timer knockoff with the Russian movement inside. And you won't be wrong. You won't be mistaken because it is. It is. It does. Navi timer, it says so on the dial. This is a Blue Angels, Poljot Blue Angels. Even though this watch says nowhere on it Poljot, there are subtle clues on it, like on the crown it's signed Poljot. And my friend has this version, which is Poljot branded. I think Poljot is no longer existing as a watchmaker. They went bankrupt. Don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure. And most of these watches are surfacing from Germany. So it doesn't say made in Russia, it doesn't say made in Germany. So take it as you want. It can be as well made in China, as far as I'm concerned. But it does a step up from vintage product in terms it has a stainless steel case, and that's one big plus because all the other ones, the vintage ones, had brass plated, chrome plated cases, and that's something I hate. I have it on this aftermarket leather band. Later on I will show you some NATO options on this one, but I grabbed this one because it in Cyrillic it says minute here, so I thought it will be pretty neat. It's powered by Poljot 313 caliber. I don't know, is it made in Russia? Is it a surplus movement? But definitely is a Poljot 23 joule Poljot movement, and it runs strong. Now, I do have experience with these watches, and I definitely recommended them before, but my watchmaker tells me that the newer ones here are which are surfacing are a bit more sensitive and a bit more easy to break, so be careful with this. So they're a bit more sensitive, so when you're activating the chronograph, do not shoot it back from the highest position. Wait for it to return somewhere like close to 12-minute hour so you don't have any issues. So tread carefully with this one. After all, I did recommend this watch as a best affordable entry level chronograph because when I first started with watches, this was one of my grails. I wanted to have a mechanical chronograph in my collection, and this was the logical option for me. I don't like Seagull. It's nothing wrong with it, but I don't like it. I kind of prefer the Russians. And of course, you can jump into vintage with 7734, which is the caliber Swiss equivalent of this Russian caliber. They have an interesting history, so check it out. So here's what I'm talking about. When you come here close to this 12 o'clock, then you want to reset because I had multiple times that the second hand just jumps over the 12. It's not properly aligned, so be careful with these watches. They are, after all, entry level chronographs. Poljot 3133 movement is a very robust movement, but it's not without its flaws and downsides like no other watch. What I hate about this watch is that someone might mistake it on my wrist as to be a Breitling Navi timer, and the lack of original design. If you dip back in history of Poljot, they do have some beautiful original design like Poljot Strela, but these new are, I think, more commercially angled to the consumers. And one of my favorite Poljot watches, which I reviewed, is Poljot Aviator, and even that one is a knockoff copy of a Fortis pilot's watch. And Fortis even sued them back sometimes back in the day. So this watch, I'm gonna tell you, it's nothing like a Navi timer. Navi timer is definitely different kind of animal all in its way, but it's very reminiscent on it. It has Navi timer on it, and that's something I'm not a fan of. But overall, I got this watch. First and foremost, I got it to do a review because I do love good Russian watch, and I do love. I wanted to check out this Blue Angels in person ever since I learned about them. You can find them online. I, they're surfacing from Germany most of the time, but online around $500 or less. I think it's a good buy for first mechanical chronograph, and you get a brand new watch, which is a big deal for some of you who do not have access to a watchmaker. So that you have to keep that in mind as well. There is a black dial version of this watch, but I have to tell you, I picked the blue dial because it looks a bit nicer than the black one, and it has this shade. The lug width is 20 millimeters, and the case diameter is 40 mils straight. The crystal is mineral. It's not sapphire. It's a curved, as you can see. It's domed, and the case back. There are options to buy with the closed case back with the crystal. And I think it's kind of neat to have this one. I remember it was a big deal for me back in the days to have a mechanical chronograph with the case back so I can examine it, learn how everything works, and to have some bragging rights. So uh, this watch has its place in the entry level collection because I think this is one of the best entry level chronographs, mechanical chronographs to get there. And I would definitely wear this over any freaking Dan Henry watch with a the quartz movement, sweeping second, and that doesn't matter if it looks like an Navy timer or like a Fortis, it does look fantastic. So if you don't mind that, rock on. My favorite Poljot with original design is Poljot Strela, and that's just because of the I like design. But this watch is absolutely beautiful. This is not an original band. I just grabbed it on, and I'm gonna try it on a couple of needle bands for you guys so you can see and enjoy it. So yeah, this was my little review of Poljot Blue Angels. It does not say Poljot on it, but it is Poljot. It has a Poljot crown, Poljot movement, and it's a Russian watch. It has a Russian DNA, and Poljot Blue Angels, one of the best entry level affordable mechanical chronographs out there that I recommend. So this was my review. If you own this watch, do tell me what do you think. Was I too harsh to it? I don't think so. I like to call a spade, and I think that's why you're watching me so far. So thank you for watching. Give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. What are your experiences with this watch? Uh, Positive, negative. It might help someone. So that's why we are all here, and that's why I'm doing this review.